Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more buckshot testing, and today we've definitely got a pretty interesting combination to try out. It's one that one of you guys suggested that we test probably a couple months ago now, so I apologize it took me this long to get around to it, but here we are, and it's definitely a pretty interesting thought process, and it could work out pretty nicely, or it could just be absolutely terrible as well. I just don't really know what to expect out of this combo. But for the shells I brought out here today, I got out some more of these. These are some old school Winchester Supreme shells. They are a 12 gauge, 3-inch, 12 pellet load of double-aught buck moving about 1,450 feet per second. And they are a copper-plated pellet as well. And it's been a good long while since we've tested any of these old Winchester Supreme Hi-Velocity buckshot loads on the channel. But from what I can remember, they were always kind of meh, middle of the road. I mean, probably decent for 20 or 30 years ago type of performance, but compared to some of today's loads, they were definitely not even close to being anything special. So I guess we'll see what they actually do through today's choke combo, because it might work out or it might be absolutely a disaster as well. But as for today's combo, I brought out the Remington 1187 here, but I threw in this choke since one of you guys wanted to see these shells run through it. This is a Patternmaster Black Mamba 690 constriction choke. It's kind of their sort of do-all choke. You shoot waterfowl shells through it, turkey loads, buckshot, just about anything really. And it does have the gas over constriction technology stuff that Patternmaster is kind of known for in some of their chokes. So definitely a very interesting choke combo that has shown some decent results with some buckshot loads in the past, but I really don't know how it's going to actually perform with these old school Winchester Supreme copper plated high velocity shells. So I guess we're just going to have to shoot it and see what happens. But as for today's test, everything is set up the same as usual for these buckshot tests. I've got the big sheet of paper at 40 yards. I've got the chronograph so we can get our velocity from the shell, and I've got the templates that we can lay up over our target when we go look at our results. So enough talking, let's get you guys a view of this target and take this shot and just see what kind of a pattern we're able to get from these old Winchester Supreme high velocity shells through this Patternmaster Black Mamba 690. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but there's only one way to find out, and that's to take a shot. So let's head over here and see what kind of results we get. Alright, so that shell gave us 1488 through the chrono. The boss claim is 1450. Now we do have a 28-inch barrel, and that gas over constriction in that Patternmaster has tended to give us a little bit extra velocity than something like a standard screw-in or fixed choke would from kind of what we've seen in our testing with it. So I'd say we're looking pretty good for velocity up here, and a loaded double-aught buck moving at almost 1,500 feet per second is a pretty spicy load. It's going to be carrying quite a bit of energy downrange, as long as the pattern was able to hold together. So I guess let's go check out that pattern and see what this combo was actually able to do and if it actually worked out for us or not. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and yeah, this is what we got. And I gotta say, I did not expect to see this kind of a result. Based on what we've seen out of those shells previously, I mean, you were looking at average results at best, and this right here might be the best buckshot pattern we've ever gotten on the channel. I mean, it's right up there with the Winchester military grade buck through the Kicks buck kicker choke. That is super impressive. The white dot was my point of aim, and even though we were just an inch or two to the left, we had all 12 pellets right there. And there's not even a single pellet that I would call a flyer in that pattern either. Everything is right there. And I did measure it, and the farthest 2 points across are straight from the left to the right, and that gave us a 10.5-inch spread at 40 yards. I even double and triple measured it to make sure that I wasn't seeing things, but yep, that is a 10.5-inch spread of 12 pellet double-aught buck at 40 yards. I don't think we can really get a whole lot better than that out of these shells, or out of any buckshot shell really, unless you're really into the hand load and custom load type of territory. So yeah, that is nothing short of impressive to say the least, and I did not expect that one bit. Now I'm really curious to see what these shells would do through the Kicks buck kicker. Would we see that kind of a result, or maybe even better than that? I don't know, but yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot more I can say about that. I think it pretty well speaks for itself. But I guess let's throw a couple templates up to kind of visualize what it would actually look like if you were to take that shot in some more real life type of scenarios. All right, so we'll start off here with our 10-inch circle, and we had a definite 9 pellets within there, but if I walk up close and kind of sneak peek behind the actual edge of the template, you can see the couple extra pellets just barely outside of that 10-inch circle. So yeah, when you have 90% of your shot in a 10-inch circle at 40 yards with double aught buck, that is pretty deadly to say the least. So I don't think it gets a whole lot better than that, but I guess let's throw a couple animal templates up and see what it would have actually looked like if you would have taken this shot out in the field. All right, so here's our deer template, and if we pretty much line it up with where our point of aim kind of would have been, as you can see, you've got 12 pellets of double-aught buck right through the lungs there. I think it's pretty suffice to say that I don't think the deer would have went anywhere. I don't think you would have had a tracking job. With double-aught buck moving almost 1,500 feet per second, and you got 12 pellets of it right through the vitals, that is going to be absolutely devastating. So I don't think there's a whole lot else I could say about that. That is just absolutely devastating. And yeah, I don't think I'd be too scared to hunt with that shell one bit, that's for sure. That would absolutely hammer whatever kind of animal you're aiming at 40 yards all day long. So I think it's pretty clear and obvious that we have a dead deer here all day long, but just for the sake of it, we'll throw the hog template up here for a few seconds to take a look at that and see what it would look like on a little bit smaller of an animal. All right, and here's that hog template, and surprise, surprise, it is the same result. All 12 pellets right through the vitals there, and you could even predator hunt with these if you really wanted to. I mean, double-aught buck might be a little bit big for some fox and coyote and stuff, depending on what shells you normally like to use, but with a pattern like that, you're going to have everything within the vitals, even on a coyote or something at 40 yards, since they would be just a touch smaller than this hog template. So yeah, I would say that is pretty bad medicine for anything from groundhog size, varmints, all the way up into the deer territory all day long. That is nothing short of impressive. After seeing this, I honestly wish they still made these shells, but I sadly don't believe they do. And I unfortunately don't think they have anything that's super comparable in how they're loaded either on the shelf today. So kind of unfortunate, but it looks like if you can find some of these old Supreme Hi-Velocity 12 pellet loads and you've got a Black Mamba 690 choke, then you're probably going to have a pretty nasty combination on your hands, because that is super impressive. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think about that pattern right there? I gotta say, I am nothing short of impressed. I did not expect that kind of a pattern coming into it. I figured this was gonna go one of two ways. Either it was gonna be absolutely terrible and a pretty much useless pattern, or it was gonna be kind of somewhere middle of the road where it wasn't great, it wasn't terrible, but usable. But I definitely did not expect to see what is potentially the best buckshot pattern we've ever gotten on the channel. That was a real surprise, especially considering these are easily a 20, 25, 30-year-old shell that has no wad or anything in them like the modern shells do. They are essentially just a copper-plated buckshot pellet moving at almost 1,500 feet per second. I mean, that is no slouch right there. And to be able to hold a pattern like that, clearly we've got a combination that just works. So yeah, I think that pattern can kind of speak for itself here. But leave your thoughts down in the comments. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these old Winchester Supreme Hi-Velocity 12 pellet double-aught buck loads? And if so, what kind of results have you gotten out of them? And maybe is there another setup or combo that you might want to see us test with those shells? Clearly they can be a pretty impressive shell, so I think we need to do a couple more tests with them through some other combos and chokes and see what else we can get out of them. But leave all your thoughts down below, because I am definitely really surprised and I want to hear your thoughts about it as well. But at the end of the day here, that's the kind of pattern that we're always aiming to see right there. You don't have a single flyer, you don't have a single gap or void or string or anything. That is pretty well as perfect as it gets. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description down below if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.